Yesterday saw the drop of Wednesday season 2, which I was through the roof excited to watch, as I've always been a The Addams Family fan. And I really did enjoy Wednesday season 1, which was a good introduction of Tim Burton's take on the titular character. But since it was meant to give us a glimpse into how and why Jenny Ortega's Wednesday is similar and yet slightly different and a unique spin on the Wednesdays we've gotten so far, it meant that season had to focus a lot on Wednesday and the mystery she was set to solve. Season 2, things are a bit the same in that, of course, Wednesday is central, and watching her navigate the intricacies of her friendship with Enid and her new stalker and soon to be mentee and sidekick, and hopefully not a villain because I really like her so much, Agnes the Mill, and her relationship with her mother and grandmother has been a delight to watch. But Netflix's thing of late has been to lean more into the ensemble nature of their shows, and we see this quite evident with Wednesday season 2 and the character of Bianca Barclay. Let's talk more on that, shall we? Now, whilst we got a bit of Bianca in season 1 with her characterization as the popular head of the Nightshade Secret Society and Wednesday Addams' rival, later turned ally and friend of a sort, season 2 looks like it plans on delving deeper into her and her own troubles as they exist outside of Wednesday's own issues. And I really love it because from what I've seen of the first 4 episodes that we've gotten so far, it is clear that the show with Bianca wants to use her character arc this season to ask a very important question. Are children doomed to repeat the mistakes of their parents? Now, like I said, our introduction to Bianca already set her up as this confident, charismatic, popular student who is respected, feared, and in some cases envied by her peers at Nevermore. It seems like she has the entire school in her thrall and in the palm of her hands, which ends up being a nice touch when the parents get to visit the school in a sort of Nevermore open day tradition, and we're introduced to her mother, Gabrielle, a fellow siren who blackmails Bianca into coming back home with her with the threat that if she doesn't, she would let everyone know that the only reason why her daughter was able to get into the school was because Bianca had used her powers to cheat her way in. Now, even back in season 1, from her conversation with her mother, we're able to piece together bits of Bianca's history. Bianca Barclay, formerly known as Brandy Jane, was in a cult that masqueraded as a self-help community whose members were scammed of their money by the head of the group, Gideon, via Gabrielle's siren song abilities. And the reason why Gabrielle wanted Bianca back was because Morning Song, specifically Gideon, needed Bianca to return and put her siren song to use for them so that they can continue to scam as many people as possible. Bianca wanted a way out and ran. She changed her name, got into Nevermore, and things were going fine and dandy for her until her mother showed up. Now, the reason I bring this up is because Bianca's backstory, specifically her mother's relationship with Gideon, who used her love for him and the power that gave him over her to manipulate her, is something that is very important to who she is and the journey she's on in this new season. We find out that the new Nevermore principal, Barry Dort, sidebar. Am I the only one that saw him and did that Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at my TV meme? Because, oh my God, it's Steve. I need to rewatch Spy Kids 1 and 2 again soon. Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what is created? Iconic line. Anyway, Principal Dot has been tasked with hitting an astronomical funding goal for the school, and as such, the upcoming gala would be a great place to have that goal realized. And to do so, they would need big donors coming through. Morticia is chosen to be the chair of the gala because of Granny Frump's quite substantial bank account balance. Also, I love that it's Granny Frump we got. I'm still holding hope that we would also get Grandmama in an upcoming season, because I really am hoping that this version of Wednesday and Pugsley have both their paternal and maternal grandmothers an active part of their lives. But anyway, as I was saying, Morticia is chosen to be the chair for the gala with the hope that she would be able to reel her mother in and thus get the school that big fat check. The only problem though is that she and Granny Frump are not on good or speaking terms. And that is where Bianca comes in. Now, like I said earlier, Bianca's story has always been tied to her mother and her desperation to separate herself from her and her ties to Morning Song. From our interaction with her in season 1, we see that she despises the fact that their Siren Song ability has been co-opted by a scam artist who manipulated her mother into falling in love with him and using her abilities to make him rich and serve his interests, and at the same time wanted to trap Bianca into doing the exact same thing, hence why she ran. It's what makes everything that goes down with Principal Dort hurt so much as I was watching the new season. First, he tries appealing to Bianca's ego, wanting to use her popularity and charisma to gain access to the rest of the student body to serve his aim of hitting that funding goal. And when she turns him down, stating that she cannot be the student liaison for the gala event as she has too much on her plate, he switches up on her so fast. Which, if you've ever interacted with manipulative, gaslighting, abusive pieces of shit, that scene was so spot on and so on the nose. Was still because Principal Dort has power over her. First, by virtue of the fact that he is an authority figure, her school's principal, and also because as a scholarship student, he has financial power over her. She needs the grants from the scholarship to be able to continue to remain at Nevermore Academy, which is, if we all remember it, the safe harbor that she ran to after she ran away from her mother and the charismatic, manipulative criminal head of the cult that Gabrielle married. Bianca is then forced to meet with Morticia, who she really admires and who she had been connecting with by virtue of both of them having difficult relationships with their mothers. And she uses her Siren Song on her to command Morticia into reaching out to Granny Frump. And you can see just how much that scene, that act breaks her. Because in that moment, Bianca realizes that she's a lot like her mother than she'd imagined. I think it says a lot that whilst Gabrielle's slow descent into having her powers be used by a man she initially trusts, who then uses her love and trust in him to compel her into using her powers to serve his interests, is something that Bianca initially could not stand and even disdained her mother for back in season 1. It's pretty damn ironic that she finds herself caught in a similar situation with Principal Dort. Not because she's in love with him or having an affair with him though, but because he is someone in a position of authority over her who's tied her survival into a heinous use of her powers to serve his own interest and benefit. And I don't know about you, but I do find that very sad and very heartbreaking. Now, we see in the season that the reason why Gideon Sterling is on the run from the FBI is because Bianca, with the aid of Gabrielle, reported Morning Song to the FBI for their fraudulent dealings, and the entire cult, self-help community group were arrested on charges of fraud. Except for Gideon, who was able to escape the net and is actively being chased and still hasn't been caught as at the 4th episode of season 2. And I found it very poignant for Gabrielle and Bianca's relationship that Bianca is the one who is parenting her mother at the moment. She's the one who's keeping her safe and away from harm as they wait for Gideon to be caught by the authorities. She's been able to help physically remove Gabrielle from the cult, helped her mother to expose the shadiness of what's going on within Morning Song, and provided her with shelter and safety and comfort as much as she can as they wait out the storm. Now, this is just conjecture on my part, of course, as we would have to wait for the other half of the season to drop on September 3rd before we can confirm things for sure. But considering the similarities of Bianca and her mother and how they are representative of a lot of what sirens have to deal with within the world, i.e., there's always the risk of someone you trust or someone who has power over you or both, forcefully conscripting your abilities to serve their own aim. I think it would be a nice way for her character arc to go this season, to have this be a moment of added clarity for Bianca, for her to see how easy it is for a siren to be manipulated and pushed into a situation where they end up doing things that go against everything they stand for because of the hold someone else has over them. Because I can guarantee this is not going to stop with Morticia Addams. Like, sure, we are seeing her care for her mother in the season and protect her. She even tells Gabrielle that she's not blaming her for her being used by Gideon, that it isn't her fault, which for me was such a nice change from how they left things between them in season 1. But I do think it would have Bianca's arc come full circle to have her not just choose to not blame Gabrielle, but for her to understand her mother too. For them both to commemorate the men in their lives who used them and their powers for their own selfish reasons. But unlike Gabrielle, who needed her daughter to be the one to pull her out of the pyre as she had been brainwashed by the piece of shit that is Gideon, Bianca will most likely be the one to save herself. Just as she chose her own name and made her own way into Nevermore, it would be more suiting for her to do the heavy lifting required to have her break free from Principal Dorst and his plans. Except, of course, we know that she wouldn't really be alone. She's probably going to have some friends in her corner when she does, like Ajax, and considering the setup we've been given, most likely Morticia Adams too. And I don't know about you, but that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. Bring on season 2B! Of course, these are just my thoughts. I would, as always, love to hear yours. Do you agree or disagree with me on whether or not this is a potential story and character arc for Bianca that the show plans on exploring in the rest of the season? Please let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like button if you've watched this far and haven't done so yet. Share this video if you want. Support me on Patreon if you can. If you cannot, however, consider checking out my other channels and subscribing if you choose. One of them is my gaming channel where I put up playthroughs of the games I'm currently playing at the moment. That is Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, and Disco Elysium. Or if you're one of those people who find my voice soothing and love folktales and myth, then you can consider checking out my ASMR channel. I would have all the links down in the description bar if you are interested. Whatever the case, see you tomorrow with a new video. Until then, do remember, obsessing over the things you love, perfectly valid coping mechanism.